I'm hoping she's still out there. This woman had 4 kids that are still waiting for her.
A search for a missing woman not making national headlines, but happening right here in our backyard. A family's plea to find Crystal Garcia.
No one ever came forward to warn us or anything, so we had no idea.
Teen suicide rates are rising. How Bexar County schools are trying to prevent this so no other parents have to suffer the loss of a child.
High demand, but not enough staff. The route changes VIA is proposing that could make your commute longer.
Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
A desperate search tonight for a mother of 4. This one's family hanging on to hope that she is still alive, despite a man confessing to his family that he attacked and killed her.
The woman's family identifying her as Crystal Garcia. A search at her apartment has only turned up gruesome evidence and her car. Garcia is still missing.
Crystal, we love you. We really do. We're missing you.
Luis Reta tried to hold back tears as he spoke about his cousin, Crystal Garcia.
It breaks my heart that someone would think of doing this to someone.
Garcia was last seen on Friday, September 17th, at her apartment on Wurzbach Road. The man who's been arrested in connection with her disappearance, Francisco Javier Garcia Ventura. The arrest affidavit describes him as the boyfriend, but Reta says he wasn't.
Maybe they did talk at one point, but I think she just didn't want anything to do with him.
Garcia was supposed to pick up her twin daughters on Saturday, but she never did. That's what prompted her mother to call police for a welfare check.
She has 4 kids that are waiting for her, and they want to see her. They want her home.
According to a police document, Ventura told his family he beat Garcia to the point that she stopped breathing before taking her body to San Marcos. A search at her apartment turned up blood on a bedroom wall, and a security camera that was on a kitchen wall was gone. A chemical designed to reveal bloodstains also found heavy presence of blood throughout the apartment.
We just hope that she comes home and nothing bad happened to her. We're not prepared to lose her.
San Antonio police did not provide any additional information about Garcia's case. Garcia's family, meanwhile, is asking people in San Marcos to search where they can. Ventura is charged with tampering with evidence at this point. His arrest affidavit says surveillance video captured Ventura leaving the apartment with a heavy-duty garbage bag. He was captured on a bus headed to Mexico City. Tonight, he remains in the Bexar County Jail on a $200,000 bond.
The topic of missing persons has been making headlines all week. A lot of focus on the Gabby Petito case out of Florida. But this has left many wondering why other missing persons cases don't get as much national attention, like Crystal Garcia that we just told you about, or other cases well known in San Antonio like Pauline Diaz and Maria Llamas. Some say the answer is something called missing white woman syndrome. It's a phrase that's coined by Gwen Eiffel, a journalist and author who died in 2016. The phrase resurfacing recently. It's described as a reaction to a woman of a certain race suddenly disappearing and the amount of national attention paid to it. Petito's story can be an example of the real-life implications facing women of color.
This makes them less safe because predators know that if you want to get away with murder, you seek the victim that no one is going to look for.
The amount of coverage over missing persons cases puts pressure on law enforcement. In turn, it can increase search efforts and resources, rewards, and the likelihood that a victim is found.
New information tonight in the case of a black man mistaken for a suspect and arrested by SAPD while jogging a year ago. Now Matthias Ometu is suing SAPD. This is video of that arrest back on August 25th, 2020. Ometu was arrested after police stopped him for, quote, fitting the description, end quote, of a family violence suspect. The victim's description of the suspect, though, differed from Ometu's appearance. He was still taken into custody. The incident caught on camera by bystanders and SAPD body cameras. Ometu was jailed and accused of assaulting 2 officers during a struggle during all this, but those charges were dropped days later. In this lawsuit, Ometu claims SAPD used excessive force during the arrest. Attorneys for the city denied Ometu's allegations and asserted governmental immunity, which offers protections to officers acting within the confines of their official duties. We'll continue to follow it.
The Kirby City Council looking to make some changes to its city ordinance. They want to change the qualifications of candidates running for city office or that are appointed to serve. The change would disqualify a person convicted of a felony, a child abuse related offense, family violence, or sexually related offense unless the person was pardoned. Several community members on both sides of the issue testified about the charter change earlier this month. The mayor says she requested the draft of the amendment at the request of voters. Last spring, Kirby mayoral candidate Chris Garza, who had a sexual assault misdemeanor in another state, he narrowly lost his bid for office. A discussion on the proposed ordinance is set for tomorrow.
A mental strain taking a toll on students in our community, and now a rise in suicides. September is National Suicide Prevention Month.
We looked into what students in Bexar County school districts are facing. The results, unsettling. Northeast ISD reports 7 students died by suicide last year, a jump from 3 the previous year. In the Northside Independent School District, there were 6 student suicides, just 1 the year before.
And in SAISD, 2 suicides have been reported already this school year, 1 last school year, and then none the previous 2 years. Educators have been focusing on mental health for some time, and given these latest numbers, many are moving quickly to ensure that resources are available for families who need it.
One family tells the Night Team's Patty Santos they believe mental health services could have helped save their son.
He was the friendliest person in the world. He was happy. Everybody loved him.
Robert Zamora had a magnetic energy that drew people in.
He never mentioned anything about being mad or upset with anybody or depressed or never.
Ralph and Elaine Zamora heard about Robert's other side after his death on September 24, 2013. Friends said there were signs that Somerset ISD grad was not okay.
He had talked to some kids about it.
Yeah. And we didn't know until after.
Right. No one ever came forward to warn us or anything, so we had no idea.
Talking about student suicides and mental health has become pivotal in recent years. Just last school year, 14 students died by suicide in the 3 largest Bexar County school districts, up from 5 the previous school year.
It's critical. It's critical to the times that we live in right now.
Somerset ISD Health Coordinator Susan Arcienega says students are speaking out about the needs and school districts are responding. The district received millions in federal CARES Act funds, some of which are being used to establish a safe, free space to help students. In July, it launched Thrive, wraparound services that include mental health for the community.
There's not services that are close by. They have to go to San Antonio, so it was something that they knew needed to come.
The program hopes to go beyond the walls of a counseling room and reach the community by breaking the stigma of mental health.
Having parent meetings with our families and being able to understand the dynamics of what children go through developmentally, what is seen as normal, what is seen as maybe a flag and a trigger.
The Zamoras wonder if a program like that could have saved their son. Their only plea to others is speak up.
If you know something that someone wants to hurt themselves, reach out to somebody and let somebody know.
According to the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, there are signs that can help you determine if a loved one is at risk. If they talk about wanting to die or feel hopeless, if you see an increase in the use of alcohol or drugs, if the person is withdrawing or showing signs of rage or extreme mood swings. Here's what to do if you recognize some of these warning signs. Do not leave the person alone. Take them to an emergency room or seek help from a medical or mental health professional. And as you saw at the bottom of the screen throughout this story, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The number again, 1-800-273-8255.
We have a Nightbeat update to the story of Shiloh the dog, whose owner says he was tied to a pole with a cement block and left to drown. The owner has now put up a $5,000 reward. Anyone who gives information that leads to an arrest or a conviction can claim that reward. The incident happened back on September 6th or the 7th at the Cove in Canyon Lake. The time frame between 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Kayakers found the dog in the water after the owner believes someone let her dogs out of her backyard. You can send the tips to the number that you see here, 830-237-8588.
Thousands of mostly Haitian migrants are still stuck in Del Rio. The efforts to get them home continuing with some help coming from right here in San Antonio. Several local nonprofits providing help, like the Black Freedom Factory. Organizers say they're coordinating with the mayor of Del Rio and another nonprofit to collect donations for migrants that are in Del Rio right now, like these. Items like baby supplies, non-perishable foods, and hygiene products are needed.
It is in our duty to reach the Haitian community and aid in whatever way we can, but to also bring to light the complexity of immigrant issues in the United States and the need for reform.
The City of San Antonio's Department of Human Services also helping with navigation services at the airport and local transportation, along with hotel stays as needed.
We all know nurses are heroes, especially after these last 18 months. And tonight, the local chapter of the National Association of Hispanic Nurses honoring some of its members. The organization's awards and scholarship dinner held at the Jefferson Community Church this evening. The goal of the association is to support those in the Hispanic community who want to become nurses by finding the funding to make it possible.
And give direct funding for nursing education. We have so many intelligent people out there, and we want them to come into nursing. Our population needs Hispanic nurses. We don't have enough.
The National Association of Hispanic Nurses has been around for about 30 years. Still ahead on the Nightbeat, new restrictions could be coming for Bexar County drivers. How our air quality plays a major role in that.
And coming up, the FDA taking another move forward to keep more people protected against COVID-19. How soon booster shots could be available for those authorized.
And next, changes to VIA routes. It means longer wait times, the reason why, and what the transit agency needs right now. Next. The labor shortage is affecting VIA. That's caused VIA staff to propose changing the frequency of some bus routes. For high demand routes, VIA says these temporary changes would mean a longer wait time of about 2 to 5 minutes. Now, for the low demand routes, you're looking at up to 30 minutes. The VIA Board of Trustees must approve those changes, a meeting set for next Tuesday. VIA says their goal is to maintain quality service with the staff they have available, but the transit agency is hiring, offering $20.25 per hour with benefits. You can find details on the proposed changes and the available jobs right now on our website at KSAT.com.
The FDA officially authorizing Pfizer booster shots for those 65 and older, along with those who are at high risk. The news coming out earlier this evening. FDA officials say third doses could be offered as early as the end of the week. The decision came after a health advisory board made the recommendation last week. The final decision remains in the hands of the CDC, who will determine exactly which populations are eligible. This is health experts looking to the FDA for approval for Pfizer's vaccine for young children. To date, more than 5 million children have been infected with COVID, 225,000 cases just last week.
While we have more work to do to increase vaccination among older children, we're hopeful that a vaccine for children ages 5 to 11 will also be authorized soon.
Experts say the green light on that could come as early as Halloween. Meanwhile, 10 states still reporting a record number of COVID hospitalizations. 6 states have 10% or less of their intensive care beds available.
Bexar County drivers, you'll likely be required to test your vehicle for emissions in the coming years, as the county is set to miss a key air quality standard. Friday will mark 3 years since the EPA declared the county's average ozone level too high. The county would then move into what's known as moderate non-attainment status, which triggers new restrictions like that emissions testing during inspections, but they won't happen until 2026 and come at about a $7 extra cost.
Yeah, not only will they be more expensive, they're going to take longer. Yeah. All right, live look outside right now, 70 degrees. Yes, 0 degrees right now.
Oh, it feels so good.
And, you know, the sun set almost 3 hours ago, and we're still falling quickly. It's nice to see. So our weather headlines here. I want to get right to this. Tonight should be the coolest readings since April. Humidity, it's going to remain low for several more days, but we do have some promising rain chances in the extended forecast coming down the pike. I want to talk a little bit about today. We made it up to 87 for the high temperature. That's a few degrees below average for the day today. But look at this across our area. No triple digits. Actually, most of us in the 80s. Only Del Rio, Cotulla making it into the lower 90s, both 92 for high temperatures. So quite a contrast to the record tying high we had here in San Antonio just a couple of days ago on Monday. All right, let's get right to it. Take a look at these readings. Bernie stands out at 57. Comfort not far behind at 59. Meanwhile, 66 Rio Medina, 68 New Braunfels, Bulverde down to 61 now. Converse area at 69 degrees. And for the most part, we have a mixture of 60s and 70s with obviously a few exceptions still in the 50s. Fredericksburg at 58 degrees along with Austin and Uvalde at 68. These temperatures likely making it down into the 50s. For most of us tomorrow morning. This is what we're expecting the map to look like in the morning. 55 Pleasanton and Gonzales, Canyon Lake about 53, Uvalde 57 along with San Antonio, but Timberwood Park about 53, Stone Oak 56, and Bernie likely 48 degrees to start the day tomorrow. Meanwhile, Elmendorf 57. So these would be the coldest readings that we've seen since late April. And yes, temperatures will warm up a little bit incrementally through the rest of the week and into the weekend. Notice how these morning readings climb up back into the 60s this weekend, but still below the average of 68. So they'll warm up a little bit, but remain below average until we get into next week. That's when some changes happen, and we're going to talk about those here. First of all, the wind has calmed down. It was a northerly breeze today, important, actually all night and today, because that pushed in the drier, less humid air. Made it feel so refreshing. It feels great outside right now. If you want, open the windows. But keep in mind, we have many allergens out there, 3 of which are high today, okay? That aside, dew points, humidity, moisture in the air. It stays at bay through the weekend. It's not going to feel sticky and muggy again until Monday. And at that point, we'll have a change in our weather pattern that could give us some encouraging rain chances. So let's talk about it. Right now, the real deal rain, that's the eastern third of the country, or eastern quarter of the country, really. New England, East Coast and whatnot. Our next system is in the Pacific Northwest. That's our next disturbance. It's going to drop southward, and we're still going to be sunny, dry, and comfortable through the weekend. And then this disturbance is likely to start drifting eastward into our neck of the woods. Stir things up a bit. We have more moisture in the air, humidity, mugginess, and it looks actually pretty promising for rain chances, at least preliminarily. This far out, it's fairly encouraging to see what we see. So we've got some scattered activity expected next week. Until then, enjoy this. A lot of sunshine tomorrow, low humidity, 50s in the morning, upper 80s by the afternoon. Not much of a breeze, light and variable. Pretty much the same all the way through the weekend, just minor tweaks upward to the temperatures. And then next week, right now, we've got it at 40% chances for Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll be fine-tuning that, of course, in the days ahead.
Looking forward to tomorrow morning. Thanks, Adam.
All right, it's only 2 weeks into the NFL season, but this first-round draft pick seems to be paying off for the Cowboys.
Yeah, because Micah Parsons can play multiple positions, and he gives the planning of the offensive coordinator for the opposition team headaches on this because he's so versatile. When we come back, we'll talk to him about that. And are the Spurs interested in Ben Simmons? Coming up.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys linebacker Keanu Neal has gone on the COVID reserve list following close contact protocol. He has not tested positive, but since he is not fully vaccinated, is out for now. This comes after defensive end Randy Gregory returns off the COVID reserve list today and will be able to play against the Eagles on Monday Night Football. In his absence, defensive coordinator Dan Quinn moved first-round draft pick Micah Parsons to the D-line. Now with Neal out, it will give Parsons more an opportunity to show off his ability to play more than one position. Parsons was asked today how much of a problem does that create for opposing offensive coordinators.
I think that was like one of my biggest things that I was telling, a lot of teams is my versatility, being able to play on the line, being able to play linebacker, using my speed and range to really affect the game. And, just keep going forward with it, keep learning every day. And, I got great people to learn after here. and great people in the Cowboys community, great linebackers. I got Sean D. Ware always hit me up. So I got a bunch of different people I could contact and get better by. And, you know, to opposing offensive coordinators, just gets them a threat, you know what I mean? Knowing where I'm at on the field, determining how they're going to run it. They don't know if I'm at D-line or linebacker. So it honestly just gives it more of a threat and more of a game plan, makes them think a little bit more.
Yeah, Parsons is able to pick up a sack in the 20-17 victory over the Chargers in L.A. Now, Monday night will face one of the more mobile quarterbacks in the league, Jalen Hurts. When the Houston Texans face the Carolina Panthers tomorrow night in NRG Stadium, Davis Mills will make his first NFL start. That's after the Houston Texans made the former Stanford quarterback their first pick in the 3rd round. Now, due to the injury to Tyrod Taylor, it will keep him out for up to 4 weeks. Mills is now the Texans' signal caller. Star offensive lineman Titus Howard is already impressed with the rookie and his pocket presence.
When he sits back in the pocket, he's already tall, so he can see everything, and he just delivers. There's one thing I can say about it: he's not scared to take a hit when he's throwing the ball, and you can tell. I think last week, guy came free. He took the hit, but you know, he a quarterback. A lot of quarterbacks can't take a hit like that and just get right back up. He got right back up, came back down in that drive and scored a touchdown. So it just speaks a lot of volume to what type of player he is.
All right, kickoff on Thursday night, set for 7:20. The UTSA Roadrunners will be looking for their first 4-0 start since 2012 when they traveled to Memphis to take on the undefeated Tigers. Going into this game where the stats are fairly even. UTSA averages almost 40 points a game. The Tigers almost 43 per game. In the passing department, about the same, 297 yards to 291. But in the rushing department, the Tigers are better on the ground, averaging 224 yards per game compared to the Roadrunners' 166. That's where UTSA's defense, ranked 10th in the nation, will be tested going into this battle of the unbeatens as 3-point underdogs.
I love being an underdog, so if it was 23, 4, it don't really matter to me. I like being an underdog, so it may give me a boost. A lot of people probably think it's like we ain't met nobody that was that good, or it's a fluke, but you know, we just gotta prove them wrong.
All right, kickoff in Memphis set for 2:30 p.m. Be nationally televised on ESPNU. The Texas Longhorns open play in the Big 12 this Saturday when they face the undefeated Texas Tech Red Raiders. The Horns haven't won a Big 12 title since back in 2009 when then head coach Mack Brown led his team in the national championship game. And when you take a look at the stats, once again, fairly even till you get to yards allowed. The Longhorns are giving up 367 yards so far this season, with 184 of that on the ground. It has not gone unnoticed by UT head coach Steve Sarkisian.
When you think of Tech, you think air raid, and Coach Leach and all the good work he did there. These guys will run the ball, and they'll run it right at you. They've got a physical tight end who inserts, and they run all the slider runs and things like that, and 2 big physical backs that we got to do a really good job of tackling in this game defensively. We've got to do a really good job of getting multiple hats to the ball, and not relying on one guy to get these 2 guys down.
All right, the Horns will be 7.5-point favorites. They kick off at 11 a.m. in Royal Memorial Stadium on Saturday. You can see that game live right here on KSAT 12. Are the Spurs in the running for their Sixers All-Star next? Former Spur, now Sixers head coach Doc Rivers says he will try and talk star forward Ben Simmons into staying in Philadelphia, despite the fact Simmons says he doesn't want to spend another second as a Sixer. The Spurs are reportedly one of 5 teams interested in Simmons, who still has 4 years and $147 million left on his contract. Don't forget our KSAT 12 MeTV Texas Sports Productions Game of the Week tomorrow night. That's when number 3 Smithson Valley faces off against number 9 New Braunfels in a battle of the unbeatens in District 27-6A. Kickoff on KSAT 12's Digital Point 2 station is set for 7 p.m. tomorrow night, live from Unicorn Stadium in New Braunfels. Clearly, this is the best game we've had so far on the MeTV Game of the Week, so really looking forward to this.
Yeah, they just keep upping the ante every week on games.
And just remember, you also can watch it on the app as well, the BGC app.
Thanks, Greg.
You got it.
We'll be right back.
Local, we're expecting tomorrow morning widespread 50s, even some 40s up in the hill country. Gonzales about 55, New Braunfels 53 in the morning, San Antonio about 57, give or take. And then by the afternoon, well into the 80s. Pretty much more of the same with nothing but sunshine through the weekend. Changes next week, some encouraging rain chances. We'll keep you updated.
Thank you, Adam. That's it for the Nightbeat. GMSA at 4:30.
Have a good night.